In 2018, a few weeks after I got married, somebody asked me a question. And the question was, what's the one thing that you think you can talk about anytime? Like somebody wakes you from sleep right now and then you can just go ahead and talk about it. And I didn't even think twice. I said marriage because why not? I'd been married for 6 to 8 weeks and it was perfect. I was married to the nicest, the kindest, most amazing man. And I was the nicest, most amazing woman. It was sweet. We were so in love. Everything felt right. It was perfect. And I kept wondering, so why is it that people get divorced? Don't they get married to their soulmates? Why do people say they've been married for 3 weeks and then they wind up in a divorce court? Why have they been married for 5 years and they wind up in a divorce court and everything? But today looking back, it's been 7 years and I think 6 months. Yeah, it's been 7.5 years. And I can tell you what it was in that time. It was just plain arrogance. It was arrogance because I thought that that was all that was needed to have a happy marriage. Now, in all honesty, it was arrogance, but it wasn't intentional because I didn't have understanding. I didn't have experience. And so I just thought, of course, it's marriage. It's God's design. It's God created marriage. And of course, it was also God's will for me to be married, especially to this person. So it was just perfect. And yeah, I wish I had more experience at the time. Well, it was pride. And it wasn't pride in a loud way, although there may have been a whiff of condescension in it, but it was pride from lack of experience and lack of understanding. Because tell me why a couple of years later, maybe 2 years later, I was thinking, how did I get married to this person? Why did I find myself in this situation? There were times I really wanted to check out. In fact, there was a time I ran away because I'm like, nah, I'm done. I can't be dealing with this. Yeah. At that time, I didn't know about those conversations that you don't prepare for. I didn't know about the misunderstandings that did not come with warning signs. I didn't understand that marriage was not 100 or 50-50 as it were. I didn't know it wasn't equal. I didn't know that there were times that the other person wanted to be on their own and the other person really needed to understand. I didn't know that there were times when the cup was quarter full or even empty for the other person, and the other person was maybe at 70% or 100%. And then there was such lack of knowledge and understanding. I didn't know that love alone was not sufficient. And like me, a lot of people, or like me at the time, a lot of people also went into marriage thinking love was enough. That's all that was needed. And I don't blame them. Like I said, I've been there. Somewhere along the line, I started to realize that God didn't design marriage to be flawless. He didn't design marriage to be perfect. He designed marriage to be formative. Marriage is not that finished product that you enter. It is something that builds you. It is something that exposes your flaws. It is something that exposes your character defects. That's what marriage is. And then you have a responsibility to realize that I am flawed here and I am flawed there, and I need to put in some work. I need to make some effort so that I can do better and get better. Marriage is the place where growth, work, humility, faith, boundaries, and courage all exist in real time. Marriage is not couple goals. Marriage is not matching PJs. Marriage is a lot of work. I describe it as a roller coaster sometimes because one day you are over the moon, everybody's happy and everybody's excited, and all of a sudden something just happens and just goes, ooh. But the thing is, as it's going, ooh, a lot of us are not quick to catch it, so we just let it go plonk. And by the time it goes plonk, we now start saying, oh, he's such a horrible person. She's such a horrible person. Missing the signs that could have helped us make sure that everything doesn't go plonk. Do you get what I mean? Anyway, I'm here because in recent times, one of my favorite conversations has been about the messy middle of marriage, the behind the scenes of marriage, because really we see what happens outside. We see the nice pictures that people paint. We see the happy moments. We see the cuddles. We see the kisses. That's what they show you on social media. But you don't see behind the scenes. You don't see the tears. You don't see the disappointment. You don't see the hurt. You don't see the discouragement. You don't see the frustration. One of the things that also helped me at some point was understanding that no marriage is perfect. No single one. My parents have been together for about 40 years, if not more. And I don't know that their marriage has been perfect. There were times that I envied them because they would just be giggling and laughing away in the living room or in our rooms or went to bed. They'd be happy and excited and everything. And I just thought, oh, they were going great. But in my adult life, I realized that there were times that it was all great. There were other times that it wasn't so great. And I've come to understand it. Like I said, there was arrogance, now there's experience. Marriage will humble you. Anyway, I'm here because I want to begin to spotlight the honest parts about marriage. I'm not talking about the dark side, the gloom, the ugliness. I want to talk about and focus on the good sides. I want to talk about the fact that people decide to choose one another again. I want to talk about the fact that even though it goes bonkers, it can still correct. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm here to say there is usually the messy part of marriage that you don't see. But it's not enough reason to be discouraged. It's not enough reason to say, okay, my marriage is the worst. It's not enough reason to say, maybe I got it wrong. It just means that you can try again because, like I said to you, no marriage is perfect. Every single person has their marital challenges. Even if they tell you that they have never had one fight, they still have their challenges, whatever the challenges are. They have their challenges. And maybe if you sat down to have a conversation with them, you would see the challenges. You would also see the sacrifice, the compromise, the adjustments that people make because people make a lot of adjustments in marriage just so that you can accommodate the other person and the marriage keeps going because the marriage should keep going, right? So, welcome to Blessing Talks Marriage because that's what this page is going to be called, at least right now. If it changes tomorrow, to God be the glory. But as of today, it's going to be called Blessing Talks Marriage. And on Blessing Talks Marriage, I'll be talking about the messy middle of the reality of marriage. I'll be talking about the good side of marriage. I'll be sharing encouraging insights and conversations about marriage. I'll talk about the space between romance and routine. I'll talk about faith and effort. I'll talk about growth and grace. I'll talk about courage and choosing to try again because that is a decision that everybody must make constantly to try again. As long as you're married, you have to decide to try again. But if you're in a violent situationship, I'm not talking about you staying. That is not a messy middle. That is a no-go area. If you are in a violent situationship today, please, I beg you, run, oh, run. Unapologetically, run. I'm not talking about the violent situationship. I'm not here for that. If you're in a violent situationship, please pack your bag and run. Run as fast as your legs can carry you. Because there's actually no space for violence in marriage. It's not acceptable in any way, in any shape, or in any form. Please run. Do not compromise your safety for any reason. It's not worth it. So I'll talk about a lot of stuff. Sometimes they will be calm. Sometimes they'll be uncomfortable. Sometimes they will reveal who you are. And sometimes they will tell you that some other stuff need attention. I'm not here to give you advice, so I'm not your marriage counselor. If you need advice, go to marriage counseling or go to therapy, whichever works for you. I'm not here for that. And if you need counseling, please, at any point, just leave a comment, send a DM, and I will just refer you to where you're going to get counseling because I don't have counseling for you. I'm just here to tell you the truth clearly and safely. Sometimes I'll tell you with a story. I love stories. I'll tell you sometimes with scriptures. I'll tell you sometimes with references from social media, but I will always tell you with boundaries, especially violence. Violence is not acceptable in this space. Not now, not ever. My name is Blessing, and like I've mentioned, I'll be talking honestly about the messy middle of marriage, where faith and effort work together, where grace and growth coexist, and where people can find the courage to try again. I say that one of my favorite things about being married to my husband is the fact that we still get to choose one another again. My husband says that he holds on to that small glimpse of light, and sometimes that's all you need to hold on to try again. So doing this, sitting down here and recording this video is taking me a lot of courage. And it's taking me a lot of courage because I have spent a lot of time in my head. It's taking me about 2 years to finally sit down and be doing this. I spent a lot of time in my head overthinking and saying what if, and when you now begin to analyze into analysis paralysis and end up not doing anything. I've done a lot of that. I have also had to deal with imposter syndrome. I've had to deal with what ifs and everything, the whole shebang. But I'm here right now and I'm doing this, and it's such a big deal for me. I hope that this resonates with you. I hope that it's something that you will find interesting and worthy of joining the conversation, because I think that's a conversation that we all need to have so that the shame about marriage stops. Because it's really important that we stop shaming people that are married, especially when they come on social media to say, this is my life's trouble, so that we can stop shaming people. Well, don't take your issues to social media, really. But even if people come to social media, so that we can actually begin to understand that marriage requires a lot of grace from both parties. This page is called Blessing Talks Marriage. It's going to be Blessing Talks Marriage on Instagram. It's going to be called Blessing Talks Marriage on YouTube. And I will post the content on my TikTok account. Is BEE Olisa. So please follow, engage, everything it is that you do when you find your favorite creators. This is not me trying to be a creator, but everything you do when you find a page that you really like. So please encourage me. I'm starting here with a lot of courage. And I say it again, courage, because this is not me. This is not my style typically, but I'm here because I need to do this publicly. And I am doing this publicly, and I ask for your support so that I am encouraged. Remember that marriage takes a lot of grace. And if you are in a situationship that's not giving you safety, till I come your way again, stay safe and give grace.